Hey guys, it's Mr. McComb again. This is the last video for the week. Hopefully you've had a good week getting into some science stuff with all this ecosystems things we're still diving into. Food chains, food webs, energy pyramids. Today's task is to get through our quiz. This quiz is in the packet I gave you guys that last Friday we were together. And this is, again, the Unit 5, Lesson 2 quiz. How does energy move through ecosystems? I'm just going to go through this real quick and give you a couple pointers, especially for the last parts. Vocab, as you know, again, for these, use your book, go through it. We're just going to let this be a review because I know it's obviously hard to kind of do this stuff without me right there with you. But hopefully these videos have been helpful. Go ahead and use that. Just 5 vocab terms. Use the book there for you. Again, a few other ones with the multiple choices. Read carefully. You should be okay with those. Then what we're going to get to is this part with the creating a food web and identifying some roles of these different organisms in an ecosystem. And then we're going to use that information to go to the back page, which is the creating an energy pyramid for that, and then have a couple questions. This I'm going to really go over with you guys to give you a couple clues, okay? We'll do a little example here. So I'm going to go over to my other page I can edit. Okay, so we're going to look at this now, and we're going to first talk about identifying the roles of these organisms in this ecosystem. So here we have the terms we're going to use: producer, herbivore, omnivore, and carnivore. I'm just going to go through that one with you, and we'll talk about that again, what these guys would eat, just to make sure we're on the same page, and I'll kind of give you a couple hints for making the food web, and then how we can make that energy pyramid be the way we want it to be. So first of all, if we're going to identify the roles of these organisms, let's go ahead and do that. A snake is going to be a meat eater, okay? So they're going to be a carnivore. We're going to fill this in together here to get you off on the right foot. Grasshoppers, in the name, is actually kind of what they generally eat, would be grass and other plants. So a grasshopper is an herbivore. Sometimes with mice, this is where I really wanted to get into. Mice generally are considered omnivores because they will eat insects. So if you think about the things on this list, omnivore, of course, means plant and meat eaters. So they might eat the grasshopper, or they might also eat some of the plants that are around here. So berries would be a plant, but we're not going to label them a plant. It's that other P word, which is a producer. So we could use berries that grow on bushes. That store energy, and that's of course a yummy treat for lots of animals. So they are producers using photosynthesis. So plant, producer, photosynthesis, all P words, right? So those kind of go together. Hawk, as we know, is a meat eater. We talked about hawks a little bit in our past couple of videos. So that's going to be a carnivore, would be their role. And the grass, of course, is a plant. So again, just like berries that are using photosynthesis to produce or make their own energy, they're going to be a producer here. Okay, so here we've got that part filled in. So I'm giving you a little help there with that. Now I'm going to kind of leave you to create the food web with that, but then also I want to preview the energy pyramid. So just as a little hint for the food web, when we identify these roles, we can see where they might start to fit in with our food web. So what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to write in you're going to write in all these names. Okay, um, you're going to take these organism names, put them into the food web. Okay, so just to draw out a little hints here, you're going to put all this into here and make a food web in here. Okay, so we're going to make sure I've got getting everything can. Take the names of these organisms, or if you want to just draw pictures of them, kind of like we've seen on the brain check, that's fine too. But make sure now that we've identified the roles of these organisms, let's take those, use what we know about those roles to put these in a good spot in the food web space here, and then we'll fill that in. Okay, so I am going to give you a little bit of guidance on that. I'm going to kind of give you, again, some hints. The producers are always going to be at the beginning because they of course, take the sunlight energy. Now, most of the time, what we're going to see is down here. Now, you're not going to put this on your paper. I'm just kind of putting these letters on here to help you know, okay, the producers are going to go down here on the bottom, and that's probably a good place to put, again, the grass and the berries, and then from there, the energy goes up, which, again, we'll talk about over here on this energy pyramid. Then we can put the next level up would be the things that possibly eat those producers, which are going to be the plant eaters, which is the herbivores, or it could be the omnivores. Omnivores might eat the plants, okay? And then as we go further up, we're going to have the carnivores, or maybe the omnivores, but I'm going to just say for this one, let's just put those carnivores up at the top, and at the very top, there's going to be another carnivore. So think about here, one of these carnivores can get eaten by the other. So think, would a hawk eat a snake, or would a snake eat a hawk? Let's use our good thinking brains for that, okay? So you're not going to just fill in these. You're going to take the names of these organisms and put them into the food web, and then draw those lines, remember, to show the flow of energy. So where that energy goes from one level to the next and from one organism to the next, okay? Then what that's going to do is take you to the back page. Now I've got this right here where it says we're going to choose a single food chain from the food web and fill in the energy pyramid, and it says, notice there are 5 levels to this energy pyramid, okay? I'm going to give you a couple clues here. At the very bottom is always going to be the producers, okay? So I'm going to fill in here the organisms that would be that. Now you can just choose one if you want, but basically the grass and the berries would be those organisms that are going to be basically making up the bottom of that food chain. If you want to have a little fun with it and draw it in, that's fine too. We can just draw, if you want to draw like little blades of grass, that's fine, okay? So we can have that. We can have the berries. Maybe they're nice blueberries. Hopefully it's getting time to be getting blueberries before too long, blueberries, whatever. Okay, so again, feel free to do some of that if you want to get creative, have a little fun with it. But no, of course, our producers are going to be at the bottom. Now, I am also going to say, and this will be a clue for making your food web as well, the organism that's going to go at the very top is going to need to be the hawk here. Okay, so here's my hint. Now, you've got to be able to come up with an energy pyramid that's got all these stops in the middle. Okay, so when you make your food web, you could make a food chain that only has like 4 connections, from the producer to the maybe herbivore to one carnivore to another. But you've got to think, and I'll give you a hint along the way, this mouse, if we think of this mouse as a meat eater, it would eat a grasshopper. Okay, so think, where can that fit, and then how can this all go together? So we need to go from the grass all the way up to the hawk and have all these stops in the middle. So there's actually only one food chain when you make this in your part of the diagram here. There's only one food chain that's going to have 5 points between it. Okay, so you got to really think and put in that correct way to make it go the way you want it. Okay, so we need to have from the grass to the hawk and 3 in between. Again, this mouse being an omnivore, think about what animal or small animal like a bug would the mouse eat that would help you out with putting it there. Okay, so that's going to be, again, a little extra challenge is find that food chain that's got 5 stops along the way before we get to the hawk. Okay, then the next part we're going to look to is when we get down to these questions at the end or at the bottom. Okay, now we worked on this a little bit in one of the do the math sections that had to do with this basically powers of 10 and moving decimal points. Here I'm saying a hawk needs to have 2,000 calories of energy to survive. So our question was, how much energy from the producers is needed to support the hawk's needs? Okay, so I'm going to try to get this a good view. There we go. So with this one, we're talking about the hawk, and I'm telling you how much energy the hawk needs. And then we need to go down. So as we go further down, there's more energy available. So let's take a look at here. If we're talking about the hawk needing 2,000 calories, we're going to put that here. So 2,000 calories. Now that means for the next level down, we need to actually multiply by 10. There's got to be more energy. Again, notice as it gets wider, we go. So whatever organism we have here is going to be 2,000 times 10. And for that, again, we're not moving decimals or taking away zeros. We're moving decimals to add zeros, or in this case, we can just put a 0 on the end of it. So with this one, if we have 2,000 times 10, that's actually going to make our number 2,000 10 times greater. So if we just put a 0 on the end of that, we would get 20,000. So again, think about all the math we've been doing. There's definitely a big connection here with our math. So that would be 20,000 calories. I picked calories because that's a measure of energy, and I picked 2,000 because for humans, that's usually considered, like for an adult, like 2,000 calories is generally like a normal amount of calories if we're paying attention to that kind of stuff. Okay, so every time we go down a level, there's more energy available. So notice again, as we go down, getting that wider and wider, we have it going there. And we need to go all the way down to the grass. So if we go to another power of 10, well, if we add another 0, that'd be go from 20,000 to 200,000 down at this level. And then you need to go down 2 more levels. And so the answer to this first question is how much energy from the producers. You'll see how much, and it takes a lot of energy when we have this many steps on the energy pyramid. It takes a lot of energy to be able to support even just one hawk if a hawk needs a certain amount. So again, every step of the way there's less and less, but if we go the other direction down, we can increase more and more, know how much of energy we need from our producers. Okay, so I've actually gone 3 steps, and then you need to go 2 steps further. And again, just means really just adding extra zero, because these are a nice power of 10 if we can think of that. So we've got 200,000 here. If you go down 2 more steps, it just basically means add 2 more zeros to that. So you can kind of think of that way there. Okay. Now the bonus question, again, bonus of course is just if you feel good doing it, you can go for it. It says, suppose there are 60 million calories of energy available from the producers. So if we say here we're going to start off with 60 million would be our bonus section. You can write out that number 60 million. Just to see how that looks, it's going to be like this. Okay, so again, this is the bonus separate from the one we just did. Now, if we worked our way up to the hawks, we could figure out if we take away a 0 or move a decimal point to the left, there's going to be less and less and less. So the higher up we go, it's just another power of 10 where we decrease the zeros or move the decimals over. So again, this is a bonus one. But the question is, how many hawks would be able to live in this area? So if we know there's this much energy from the producers, and we already also know that there's 2,000 calories of energy that one hawk needs. If you find out how much energy is available up at this top point for the hawk, then you can also think, okay, if there's 2,000 calories for one hawk, how many would be available for the amount that I just found? How many hawks would be able to survive there? Again, that's a bonus, definitely a challenge, and that's a challenge on a regular year where we're not separate and doing the remote learning thing, okay? So if you get to that point, like, I don't even want to think about this anymore. I'm done with energy pyramids. That's fine. Okay, so I want you guys to do your best here. I think hopefully I've walked you through some of the key points with this stuff. Good luck. Again, use your book. I'm around if you need me. I'm going to have my Zoom link around if you need to touch base with me at some point here too. So hopefully by this time you see this, we got that working pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and pause our video now. And again, once you get through this, you're done with science for the week. Again, hope you've had a great week. I miss you guys a lot. And hopefully we'll be in touch soon. Good luck on this, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.